Hey, if you want to find out how to fix a washing machine that's bucking around like crazy, following you down the road into the grocery store and making a big scene, then stick around. Okay, so a little bit of background. My wife, or I bought my wife a washer and a dryer years ago, and I was real excited. I was going to get her nice, fancy, top load, king thing that could hold a bunch and all kind of good stuff. She's fussed at me ever since because it's too fancy. So anyway, that's another story. But so progressively, what has happened is the washing machine, when it gets out of balance, it'll try to balance the load, I think, but basically it'll pop up an error that's OBL, I think, or something like that, or OB or something. Anyway, it'll pop up a code, and it's basically saying out of balance. So you open up the top and you move the closer around and close it back up again, and it'll go on about its business. Well, slowly but surely it got worse and worse and worse and worse, and finally it got to the point that you could just put a few shirts inside there and go through the whole wash cycle and get to the end when it's spinning out of balance. And no matter how you move these shirts around, like 2 or 3 or 4 shirts, and move them around, it still goes out of balance. And what you'll see is that inner drum will start to spin, and then all of a sudden it just starts to do that, and whop, 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 whop. The whole thing's a bucking and snorting and cavorting and forting and going everywhere. It's just going crazy. So when the washing machine actually started following my wife to the grocery store, when she's trying to run it because it was bucking so bad, I figured I needed to figure out what was wrong with it. So I don't know if I showed it in the video quite so well. I missed trying to, or being able to really show you when all the hangers were these here, these bad ones. I'd already put one in by the time I thought about doing that. And so you push down on it. Push down on the center agitator, or push down on the bottom of the drum if it doesn't have an agitator in the middle. But you push down on it and go down, and it bounces. If it bounces more than twice, you push down on it and let off of it real quick, and it comes up and does that, it's bad. Which I've pulled them apart because I want to show you how I'm planning on trying to fix these. And I've seen a video on YouTube that showed them being fixed. But if you'll see, when you push down on this, it's just, it's easy. I can push down on it like that. Now the spring is tight. Now this right here, see this right here? That's just no tension whatsoever on that. And so what this does is, let me try to push it all back into its normal configuration. So on this part down here, this on the bottom, there's like at all 4 corners, and I'll try to draw this. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna try to draw it. There's a foot with a slot in it, and then you take and put this up in that slot and pull up, and it snaps this piece into place. To get it out, this piece right here, on all 3 of them, one of them it was too loose, but on 3 of them I'm able to take this and push down on it and knock it out to where it comes loose, and I was able to just pull it out of the gap. So normally this is going to be down the bottom, the tub is going to be resting on this, and that spring is going to be holding it. Then up at the top you've got this piece, which is in the washing machine, or in each of the corners, and you have this, which has a slot in it, which these I think are just fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with these. The other ones looked about like this. But put it in here. If I can make it, there you go. So you got the little slot here. So put it in the slot. You can't put it in here first because it won't work. What you have to do is put it here and rotate it in, and it's just fine. Now on the top, you'll notice you can actually, once you get this in here, you can set it to this side or this side. Don't set it here. Make sure you either turn it to this side or you turn it to this side, and it's locked into place. And this sets inside this little cup, which is basically probably a wear item, and that's why this is in such good shape itself. So this will set in there, and as the tub moves and gyrates and all that, this is inside that cup, and it'll support it. It's if you don't have a lot of hand strength, in my hand, and I don't, I got arthritis. My strength in my hand's not what it used to be. But I was able to hold these. Now I was getting tired towards the last two in the back, and so you'd see me struggling a little bit to hold this rod. But if you had someone to hold the drum for you, then it's nothing to hold this rod up and get the pieces, you know, get this piece put back in there like it needs to be. Or sorry, that's wrong, like this. Back in there like it needs to be. It'd be simple if you had somebody helping you hold that. But down here, let me just pull this up. Get this stuff out of the way. And you can see there's little ears on this, and it doesn't hold tightly. And I couldn't see where these right here made a difference as to how they went in. I just stuck it in there and pulled up on this part, and it popped them back into place just perfect on the replacements. What is down in there is and let me get it out so I can kind of see for myself, because I really hadn't taken one of these out. And I guess it doesn't matter if I booger this up, because my intent is to try to replace one of these. And I've seen people do videos where, okay, so this is kind of, and let me go ahead and surgically remove that baby. Okay, so that is not rubber, and it's not foam. It's like a hard, that is like a hard foam. And what it does is, let me look in here and make sure I'm telling you the truth. So this inside here is not conical. It's basically the same shape as what this is, and it fits down in there, but it helps this piece grip this rod. And after gyrating up and down and bouncing around and everything for so long, the hole inside just wears out. It just gets all worn up. And so this thing will bounce too easy. And that's what the problem is. So you wouldn't, and it doesn't take a huge amount of friction for this thing to work. And if you think about how it works, it kind of makes sense. Because the way it works is the washing machine, when it goes out of balance, it'll shift over here, just say, and it's out of balance. And this spring in this corner starts to compress. But with the resistance on here, it lets it move, but it doesn't allow it to compress very much. And it's already spinning to the next corner where it starts to compress that. And this side is compensating while this side is compressing, and it comes around to this corner, and this side's probably back into position, and this side is compensating, and this side is starting to compress down, and then it rotates to this corner, and this side's back where it's supposed to. This side right here is compensating back up. It rotates over here, and it's the same thing, and it just does it all the way around. And so when you have clothes that are slightly out of balance or somewhat out of balance, these springs are stiff enough, this friction on this piece right here is stiff enough so that it works kind of like the shocks in your car. And so there's minute adjustments that these shocks are allowing, but then the off balance is already moved to the other position again, and just look at how quickly it's spinning. I mean, it's a matter of fractions of a second that it's done moved from here to here. Now, if this allows it to move too much, then in that fraction of a second that it's over here, it's way down here. Then it gets over here, and that one goes way down over here. And so you end up with this number right here where it's just loping. You know, it's loping all the way around, and eventually it forms a rhythm or a frequency and begins to vibrate in that, and eventually it's just smacking, you know, one side, and it's, you know, just going all over the place. So this here is what I intend to try to fix it with. And this is, of course, silicone rubber plugs from Harbor Freight. And I went today and picked these up just to for this purpose. And because I've needed plugs of different types over the years and didn't have any. And so what I would look for, if I can get it out. See, that's close, and that's small. So this right here is about the right size. I mean, almost exactly the same amount down there as this. And so my thoughts is, so I've got 4 in here. So I'm figuring on probably, and this is silicone, so I don't know how well I can drill it, but possibly drilling a hole down the center that is undersized on this, because it's going to have to be undersized. And so drill it undersized, and then I'll take this and cut a slot in it. And because I don't see that where it could possibly make a difference. And then I'm probably going to see about trying to make these, I don't know, I may not, because this is conical, and I want this to kind of compress somewhat in here with this on the top. So I don't know exactly, this might be exactly the right, and I really think this is going to be almost exactly the right length. Here's the tub. Or actually, this is, say, the water jacket. And then you have a tub inside of it. And then in the video where you see me take a cowling off the top, is that cowling has a ridge or it's, okay, so you've got a channel like this all the way around that cowling, all the way around this cowling. There's a channel just like this, and it mates to this outer tub, and the not on the inner tub. And so the outer tub is what you're working with the whole time. So taking that cowling off the top, you know, it probably sticks out about like this, the cowling itself. And so it takes up, you probably got about that much room. And then if you take that cowling off, you got like that much room. And so it makes it easier to get your arms and your hands down there and work on stuff. And so in the 4 corners, so here's the tub, you got one here, one here, one here, and one here. These are your spring hangers, okay? And so you have a piece that, like a foot, that comes out, and that is at each of these 4 corners right here. And so when you're looking straight down at one of these feet right here, this is what you'll see. And of course, this is your tub. And this right here, you can see this gap that's right up in here. And so that's where you'll take that spring and you'll drop it down and slip it over into this slot and jerk up on it. And it'll clip that, where's it at? So you'll make sure this is down, And if this is pushed down into here, just pull it up. That's probably about 3.5, 4 inches. Pull it up so you can slip this part right here into that slot. And then this right here, you'll just kind of align it to this hole right here and just give it a little quick tug, and it'll snap it right into place. Okay, so we have a Whirlpool. This is a model WTW75GW2, but these procedures are basically the same for most all washing machines. This one's a little bit different as far as getting the top up and the style and the type, but once you've got that up, and there may be a ring that you've got to loosen up inside, but basically that's what it is. So let's see if we can tame this bucking horse. Okay, so we're going to start with removing the screws in the back here. Just between, and make sure you unplug the power cord first, but between the water inlet and the power cord, which I don't know if you can see that. We're going to take loose is, let me move this just a little more. The next one we take loose is the, I think it's the cabling, the electronics wires going down. It's like a shield that goes in front of that. And if you're like me, and you're too lazy to pull this thing all the way out, disconnect your hoses and all, be careful that you don't drop all this stuff. That would not be good. Now these are different sizes. The longer one was on this side, and the shorter one was holding the wire shield in. And I believe we're going to have another long one on this tab here. Alright, now supposedly okay, so we should be able to raise up on this and pull forward, which that worked. Then you should lift up slightly, push forward, and lift on up, which that was all perfect. Hopefully you can see this. These tabs that our screws was in to hold this stuff together, there's a slot in the back of this that'll fit right into that tab. Same thing over here. It fits right into that tab. And so next thing I'll need to do is wire this up so that it won't fall. And then I've got to take this this outer piece right here off. easy access to everything in here. So you can see right here is the spring hanger, and then I don't know if you can see down in there. I can't see the screen. I'll try to highlight this so you can see it, but you can see how the spring hanger is connected to the side of the tub, and I may try to do a drawing to kind of explain how that's connected to the side of the tub. So let's see about getting the first one out. Should be able to lift up, turn so what I did was the holder, you see that just moves easy, and that's what's wrong with this. So this rod, your holder's here, you can slip up in here, and then this seats up into a slot there. So I took this piece, put it on it, and pushed against it, which popped it loose, and I was able to slip it out and lift it up without going through all the details of flipping it over and pulling it out the bottom. So you really don't have to do all that. So let me see if I can get the new one in. So you see here, we've also got a cup that's in that recess, and it doesn't matter which hanger goes where. That's not a deal. Doesn't matter, because they're all the same. So hopefully you can see this. This hanger, it's just gonna, or that sleeve or bushing or whatever you want to call it, just slips down in there. So let's grab my first hanger here. So what I'm gonna do is kind of push this up a little bit, so hopefully I have enough room to get that up underneath there. And I'm going to take and slip this in, then I'm going to pull up on it to kind of pop this into place. Let's see how that goes. And that was just easy peasy. That was really just way too easy, to be honest with you. Okay, so that's number one. Now, I forgot to show you, I wish I had, but you could probably still see it some. You see how it's already better now, but you push down on it, see how it's flopping? So when I get all the rest of these changed, you shouldn't see that anymore. you see? That's how it should be. When you push on it, you should have that and not that floating, bouncing. So, if you look here, you've got a groove that you'll fit into place, sliding on there. It'll fit just right. If you look here, you got this part, and like a hose, this wasn't on there, but this will go in this corner right here. There you go, super easy. This is back in place just like it needs to be. Make sure that you get everything mounted in, because I think you can put detergent in here, and if you don't get it in that outer drum just right, that'll go on your floor. So make sure you get this ring back into place. Now your washing machine may not have this ring. Some do, some don't. It just depends. And I think this ring is primarily because you can add detergent in the lids section. Yeah, so you have this reservoir that you need to make sure is in there just right. So if you don't have to take this off, don't take it off. I don't think I needed to, because the tub moves around and I'm able to get a lot of open areas to get in there to do what I got to do. And I did cut myself a little bit on the edge, so this is sharp metals in here, and you will be prone to get cut. Absolutely no doubt that'll happen. So just be careful, and I think you'll be all right. So that's really it. It's done. I'm a fat old man with COPD, and so it took me a lot longer, probably 2 to 3 times longer than it should have. But I figure you could probably do this job in about 15 minutes and you're done. Okay, so that's got it. All 4 are in there. The lid's back on. I didn't even pull it out of the compartment or disconnect the water hoses. Never turned it on its side. Everything was done from the top. I removed the inner cowling on the drum, and I don't think I had to. I believe I could have done it without it. May have taken a little bit longer, but it was easy to get off, easy to get back on. Just those little tabs holding in place. Be sure that you don't break them, so you want to take it easy. If you get you a little tiny precision screwdriver, you can pop those tabs loose really easy. It's easy to get them back in. So the whole thing, simple, easy, and it fixed it. Remember, if you push down on your drum, even if it's got a center agitator or don't have an agitator like this one, just reach down in there and push it down. If it goes down and springs up and down a time or two, they're worn out, and that's why it's bucking and walking around. But if you push down on it and it goes down and comes up, it pretty much stops, then they're good. And then you got, if it is doing that, then you got another problem that's causing it to be off balance. So anyway, if you're still here, you are amazing. Well, if you're still here and you're still awake, you're even more amazing. But I love you guys, and I hope this helped you. I hope this did something for you. I hope you get something out of this, that you can get your machine back going, and you make points with your wife. So anyway, I would ask you that you would like and subscribe if you find this content useful. There's a lot goes into these things, and I'm not real good at it. I hope to get better. I understand that. So I hope you can bear with me. But anyway, I would ask that you would like and subscribe. Most importantly, that you would comment below if this helped you, if it didn't help you, if I could have done something better, because I want to learn too. And the only way I can do that is with your input, because I'm just doing what I think is right. And so I want to do just, I want the opportunity to learn. So that's what's drawn me to YouTube at the beginning. That's what I love about YouTube, and that's what I hope that we can all grow together. I thank you for spending your time here with me. I hope and pray that this helped you. God bless.